Alright, hey guys, got another video for you today. Now, as per usual, when I'm making a minigame, I'll show off some of the contraptions I use to make it and expand on the ideas as well. So today what I've got for you is sand payment machines or sand shops, things that you can use those for. So let's start off just a simple sand payment machine. Place the sand, it pushes the sand off and it gets destroyed on the half slab, but it also sends a pulse to that redstone line which you could hook up to a dispenser or doors or anything like that. It's really simple. The pulse right here goes into the piece of sand that you drop, and then down this redstone line, and then into this repeater, and that will activate the piston that pushes the sand off into the half slab. Now, based on how long you put this repeater for, it'll adjust the length of the pulse that the output gives out. So if you have this, it's fairly short, but if you put the repeater to full, it's a much longer pulse. So it's a little bit of adjustability there. So why don't we go on to the next one? This one is for 2. See, pretty much the same concept. You just put the check. To activate the pistons at the last block that you put in, which would be the second one, like so. And same with this one. The longer that repeater is, the longer the output signal will be. And here's a different design. Since we don't want to have a bunch of these pistons all stacked up in a row, and a bunch of repeaters coming off to push them, why don't we just have one piston at the bottom that controls whether they fall? So this one will take 6, since there's 5 here, and then the 6th one will drop there and track that piston. We do it. Now we see a problem here, since it's stopped before all the sand came down. Now, before we get into fixing that, this can be useful for, let's say, initial payment systems. So if you want to have the initial payment be 6, but then every other payment be 3, 1, 2, 3, to get the same item, then that's a great way to do it. Alright, so let's get working on making all of them fall. An easy way to do that is to add a pulse extender. That's what these repeaters are right here. It just gives a longer pulse to the piston, which will make it retract for longer. Let's do it again. 6. And there you go. So they all went down. You got it. So now a new design, which I think is easier, at least redstone-wise. You don't need a lot of pulse extenders for a lot more sand. Just load it like so. So all the sand goes along here, and then when you put in the last sand block, which will be above this red torch, and since it's moving since it will be moving from this block to right here, it won't fall and be destroyed by the redstone torch. So it'll stay there and then activate a pulse, which will go into all of these pistons back here and push all of the sand that was distributed onto these half slabs. So put the last one in, and there you go. It worked. Now if you want to, these 2 blocks aren't necessary, but if you want to make the exit pulse longer, then you just put a repeater like that. You can make it really long, and then see much longer exit pulse. So that's pretty simple. Now one thing you can do, since you can only put 12 blocks in one of these without curving around and doing weird stuff, what you can do is hook it up to a counter. So this one is only 2, just for demonstration purposes, but it's hooked up to a counter right here. So every time I put in 2, it'll send a short pulse to these pistons on the counter, and they will go up and bud switch with this redstone line. And so you'll have to do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. before you get the item right here. Now, this is also a good thing to demonstrate a progressive, say, buying systems. So you could have, say, your initial buy gets you one thing. That's part of the counter. So you get like a wooden sword. Now you get like a gold sword. Now you get like a iron sword, and then the last one you get like a diamond sword or something. So this kind of indicator, player indicator, would be great for longer systems where you have, say, upgrades along the way. Like I said, just upgrading each sword. But of course, it can also just be used for plain player feedback. Oops. And of course, it resets when you stop, and they all go down, and you get the item. So yep, that's one interesting way you can do things with this, and it works really well. Now another thing, which is my favorite part, is the just the kind of input right here. So you see, you'd place a block back here, it would fall down right here and go into the regular system. But what I like to do is I like to make it lock you out after you've finished. After you've finished, like, putting it in. So this one takes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you notice it locked me out. I can't put any more sand in there. So one thing that happened there is after it pulsed right here, it went into a small just T flip-flop that pushed this block down, blocking the sand entrance. And of course, you could just not put any pistons here and leave, what do you call it, just this redstone torch here, and put this redstone line straight into this block, and that would make it permanent. But this system is good if you want, if you want to, say, buy back an item. Yeah. One thing I like to do with this is put a redstone lamp there, and then from this just input right here that controls the initial piston, just put a block and a piece of redstone right there. So when we put in the 5, the redstone lamp comes down and it's powered. So it makes it really easy to tell when you've paid the machine already. And that was actually used in my Through the Spider's Web minigame that came out about a month ago. And then finally, I have one for bulk sand payments. And you could also do this with the counter attached to one of these. That also works, but this one is a little bit more compact, but it also uses a bit more piston. Well, yeah, anyway. So you put the sand in, it pushes it along here, and loads it up. Now, the last block is going to be here, right? So that's where we'll check it with this to retract these pistons, let all the sand fall into the half slabs. But there's a problem. See, when I put this block here, it sends a pulse through it because it doesn't start falling immediately. So the problem that I had to work out was just making it so if that pulse isn't long, then it won't go into the pulse extender right here and won't retract the pistons. Once again, only sent a short pulse, didn't activate the pistons, but stays in there for longer, activates the pistons, and they all fall. So it's just really, really easy. And yeah, simple designs. That's pretty much all I have for you right now. And as a little bonus, have a fun little piston tape with sand. So yep, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.